Opportunity for you guys to ask questions to Dr. Amsu and myself, anything to do with health, anything to do with detoxing. And sometimes we end up having general conversations about, the plight or the state of the Black community here in America and globally as well. So again, welcome, 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 one and all. So if you do have questions, you know how to do it. Raise your hand in the app. At the bottom there, there's a button you can press for that. And also you can probably let me know in the chat. We try and monitor the chat as well. The IG isn't up, but you guys don't care about that IG because you guys are here in the main forum on the Zoom. Now, for giggles, we are now simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube. Are we on YouTube? Are we live yet? We're live on YouTube. The Great Black Detox on YouTube. Go along to that and just see how clear it looks. Now, it's interesting because YouTube and Zoom have different compression on their video. So the stream actually I think the stream looks better on YouTube, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a wider screen as well. So I don't know, if you're ever away from Zoom and you're just on your phone or somewhere where you can't connect into the Zoom, we shouldn't be anywhere. You can always watch it on the YouTube. Now, the great thing about the YouTube feed is it's a lot easier to share. So you can share it directly from YouTube with any of your friends. You can post it on your own YouTube, cut and paste that and stick it on your social media, and people can get straight into the live as well. So your friends and family that you've been trying to get on the call, they've got health issues and you're trying to help them, you're trying to help them and they won't get on the call. It's even easier for you guys now to send a link to them to get them on, at least to the YouTube, to get involved there. So as usual, guys, how's everyone doing? We've got a handful of people on. Can we please unmute the cameras, man? I don't know who I'm looking at over here. I see Pamela's here. Crystal. Tanya's probably still in the UK, I think. Jacqueline's probably got her bonnet on. She's in her curlers in a nightgown. Who else we got? Ivan. Who's Ivan? Have you met Ivan before? iPhone. Whenever I see iPhone, there's like 1 in 1,000 people it could be. So I don't know who iPhone is. So
I thought it was an Ivan.
Yeah, there's Ivan as well. We got Ivan and iPhone.
Oh, okay.
No relation. And what's up, Moses? We got our man Moses, all the way out there in Kenya, sunny Kenya. So any questions, comments? How's everyone feeling? How are you feeling today, Pamela? Oh, you're on mute, darling.
My questions are going to be like general as I'm familiarizing myself with the whole protocol, because this is a whole different change screen, not the vegan and all that, but the other parts, the foods. I'm learning the foods now, especially the estrogen foods. So once I study, I like to totally digest stuff and then I'll come with questions. So that's what I'm feeling right now. I did have one question, but it's like really general. And I wanted to know what your views are on not doing them now, but doing some of the studies I had, some of the different diets I've gone through, lifestyle changes. Back in the day, we did colonics. I haven't done them in a while. What is your view on those?
So I'm going to introduce Dr. Amsu. Welcome, Dr. Amsu.
I've been here the whole time.
Thans for joining us.
I've been here the whole time.
He came in rubbing his eyes. Like, someone just rolls out of bed, But Dr. Amsu, I know we've talked about colonics quite a few times, and there was a big fad. I don't know, probably still out there, but there was a time, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But the in thing, there were
colonic
centers.
I got 2 words for colonics.
All over Atlanta.
One-way traffic.
That's 2 words.
One-way traffic.
No, one way is one word. One way is one word. One-way traffic. That way, not that way. No good. It would seem like a good idea, but dampens the liver, dampens the spleen, and the apparatus that's used for the colonics as well causes some problems as well as the quality of the water that's going up there. It messes with pH. There's a lot of stuff that's wrong with colonics. So if you want to clean yourself out, utilize your good bacteria and your digestive enzymes and the what the body's got in place naturally. you know, and there's things like prune juice that are traditional things to helping people to have washouts and whatever. But you know, colonics are not good. All right.
I've got a
Thank you.
question about colonics, Dr. Amsu. It's a question and a statement. You know, I'm trying to get extra points here. So I'm assuming, so the body, you know, does a great job of cleansing itself,
I mean,
supposed to, right, given the right
Right.
tools. So if you do have a lot of fecal matter backed up in the colon and you know whatever else in there, and then you forcibly go in and take it out, but the body doesn't get rid of it by itself, isn't that indicative of something not going right? You know, it doesn't get, you know, to the root cause.
Right. It doesn't
There's a
get to the
reason
root
why your
cause.
body was holding on to that
Right.
waste matter.
It's
Right.
papering over the cracks.
Right. Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Or watering out the cracks if you want. Right. But yeah, if your excretory system is dysfunctional, then it's better to deal with the root cause than to you know, band-aid the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's usually, and you know, it's usually people who are convinced into doing colonics are those people who they've been eating a lot of meat and stuff that is hard to digest, and you know, the body dumps it somewhere, and you know, it doesn't digest correctly, it will sit in the colon for long periods of time. And there's things like plastics, right? And we have a serious issue of plastics, right? With PVC and plastics, right? Where plastic molecules and, you know, small minute pieces of plastic, they float around and they're everywhere. It's everywhere. You know, we're full of plastic. So this becomes an issue when it comes to excreting and defecating, removing all waste out of the body. It becomes an issue, you know, so you get a collection. And you know, by detoxification, this is why we do what we do with the detoxes, is, you know, give your body the right resources, the right tools, so that it can detoxify itself, so it can, you know, start to the process of autolysis to get rid of those you know, break down and dissolve those solid pieces of matter that cause people to be backed up, you know. So I hope that helps, Pamela. So don't do the colonics. No more colonics.
No, I hadn't done them in years, but I remember back in the day, like you said, 10, 20 years ago, it was a thing to do. And you do it like once a month or something like that. And I just didn't do them. I stopped doing them. And then the thought came, okay, since we're detoxing now, let me make sure that that's something that I put in the past and leave it in the past. So now it's in the past.
Right. And you know, there's not only just colonics, there's things like the coffee enemas and stuff like that.
Okay, I know all those.
People were doing right, and like, nah, you know, don't do that.
I've got another question about not just colonics, but about these procedures, right? I've always understood that the reason why, you know, detoxing, taking bitters and taking certain things in, even if it's senna leaf, right? Whatever it is you use,
Yeah.
that these things are coming from nature. They're herbs and spices and barks and compounds that are in nature that the human body reacts to and can be used to trigger certain reactions in the body. Even marijuana and cocaine have a use, right? For something. Coffee has a use for something because our body has receptors. If it had no use in the body, or the body didn't respond to it, there would be no receptors for those things in the body. And the things that the body doesn't have receptors for, it just tries to flush out or stores because it doesn't know what to do with it. These procedures, you know, someone started it, right? So I don't see where in nature, I don't think there's any other animal that does colonics, that forces water up.
Check this out though. So even though we have receptors for things like caffeine, we have natural hormones and natural chemicals within our body that's produced endogenously, that these receptors are for, to help to, you know, increase metabolism or to increase energy, or, you know, if you will, in cells. So when we bring in other substances that attach to those receptors, not because we have receptors for those substances particularly, you know. So caffeine, as we know, is what people use to help to wake themselves up. Now we have natural, neurotransmitters, we have natural endorphins, we have natural enzymes and that we have in our body, traveling around our body to help us to wake up. We have cortisol.
Yeah.
We have testosterone, we have hormones that are there to help to give us that morning boost, that burst of energy, right? We all basically permitted or facilitated by the serotonin cycle, right? When we have dysfunctions and something starts to go wrong, that's when we start bringing in the substitutes that, right, we need caffeine, we need a coffee, and then you get dependency. So most people when you go Starbucks in the morning, the reason why there's the line at Starbucks is so long is because that's our line of dysfunctional people, dysfunctional health, where they don't have, they're not producing the natural chemicals in their body to give them that energetic boost. So they need coffee, they need caffeine.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think where I was going with that statement really was about procedures like colonics. Someone invented them however long ago, could have been thousands of years ago, right? But I'm saying colonic isn't in nature. There's no, I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not sure which part of the human anatomy was designed or at what point, colonic was
not a nature.
Right.
So somebody came around.
Right. Anyway, the point I'm making is that, there are lots of things, even like you said, drinking coffee. When I meant that the body has receptors for them, a long time ago, I remember watching a movie and it was about the Andes in South America and how the locals in that part of the world, because of how mountainous it was, they needed to go up and down mountains to go hunting and doing whatever they needed to do. And they would get the cocoa leaf and they would chew the cocoa leaf. And what that would do, that would give them energy to get them over the mountains. They could run for hours on this cocoa leaf, right? But of course they were eating, natural foods, organic foods. The point I was making, Dr. Hampson, that cocoa leaf used properly for that purpose. It wasn't recreational. It was literally to get them from, point A to point B. What we've done now in the modern world, Dr. Hampson, is taken things in nature and made them recreational, misused them, overused them, and even creating medicines for them, like I say, in the coffee colonic,
right.
A lot of things are made up, and you got to ask yourself when you hear about these new fads and stuff, where in nature is this? What is this substituting in nature? And try and get back to the natural cause as opposed to the machine pumping. I don't know how many gallons of water in your anus at whatever time.
Usually 5
gallons.
5 gallons.
Right now,
don't even drink. Who drink 5 gallons? You see what I'm saying? You don't drink 5 gallons. You become
toxic.
But
right.
you're gonna insert 5 gallons.
5 gallons.
To your colon. Come on now. Ain't supposed to be there.
Pamela, you had another question?
Who?
You said you had another question?
Oh no, I'm listening now. I'm just listening. There's just so much. I'll be tuning in and throwing things that were thrown at me back in the day. And they even gave us literature to prove that was the thing to do. So I'm really loving reading.
Of course.
Yeah.
We talk about this every week.
Right. And
you go to a doctor's office, there's a pamphlet that tells you why Botox is the thing to do.
Right. And that's the thing is that, they say if you want to hide stuff from black people, put it into a book, right? Was it conversely, if you want to convince black people about something, put it in a book. Because if it looks official, there's a book about it. I've read it somewhere. I read it somewhere that you always hear people say that because it's in written form, it doesn't mean it's correct.
Sure.
And again, Dr. Hampson, as we discuss quite often as well, something we were taught a long time ago is always question the author. Someone's written that book, usually for a reason, especially if it's a book that's espousing some particular type of,
who's the authority?
Who's the authority? Who authorized, right, of that book. And so you can get anyone, given the right incentive, usually financial, to write and say anything. You know, there were scientific papers. I mean, scientific papers. Universities were doing scientific studies to prove that black people were inferior to white people 100 years ago. In fact, probably even in this century.
Yeah.
And they were using that to pass laws around America. So if you're someone that follows the science, could you have questioned that science? It came from a university. There was a white paper. There was a book, professor this, professor that wrote them. And you can probably Google them and find them. Just because it's in a book, as Dr. Amsu is saying, or just because some university, you know, sanctions some study, doesn't necessarily mean it's right. I know it makes it more difficult for us, the lay people, but sometimes it just takes common sense to really look at things and think to yourself, wait, I always ask, what in nature is this thing trying to counter, or what in nature is this thing trying to help or boost or replicate? And let me go to the natural source. I don't see where in nature.
Well, that's the reason why I was telling everybody to watch Dope Sick, because Dope Sick is classic. It's one of the best examples we can get of pamphlets, white papers, FDA backing something because somebody made a statement that, you know, some professor wrote a letter, and that letter, a paragraph or a sentence that was it wasn't even a letter. What do you call that?
It was an article,
a commentary.
It wasn't even
a commentary about something became what's the term that they use? It became what's the medical equivalent of case law? It became the go-to paper, right? That nobody could find, but everybody made reference to this one statement that was made, and it wasn't even correct, but it became the standard, and everybody was quoting it and everywhere. And this is where they say follow science. There's a scientific methodology, right? You know, systemic way of doing things, and it doesn't mean that it's infallible, because from corruption rears its head, it's a wrap. You know, so you know, it's just something to think about when somebody presents you with a booklet, a pamphlet, a paper, or whatever, not to just accept that it's fact, or that it's you know it's science, it's foolproof.
Yeah, I guess we have science and we have scientists, right? And you know, anyone can espouse something. So listen, Pamela, again, always grateful to have you on the call. Love your questions, love the commentary, love the comments. Who's this? Oh, Tanya, her professor at NYU said similar, that we should question everything. Indeed. A lot of professors do know that stuff, you know, and it's funny, ironically, a lot of professors at university leave the public sector, or leave, you know, I guess capitalism, and go into academics, because they're against what they're being made to do in these, a lot of these companies. You know, if you study chemistry, for example, and your desire was to study chemistry because you wanted to change, you know, humanity and come up with chemicals and, you know, better ways of doing things, then you go and get a job at, you know, XYZ company, right? And they're in there making more poisonous plastics, right? And you know, you're on the payroll, and they're asking you to cut corners, or to not worry about, or even lie about, you know, the carcinogenic nature of a particular chemical, because they need to get this thing out to market by January 1. A lot of people leave the corporate world because of that, you know. So,
but they sign non-disclosures,
so they can't say
before
anything
they leave, so they can, you know, get a nice payoff, you know. And again, dope sick. Well, if you don't understand how the pharmaceutical industry works, how corporate America is, the nature of the beast, watch that, because everything is in it. You know, you have the do-gooders who are trying to fight it, but then you have, you know, law, case law, you know, precedences that have been set, you know, systems, systemic ways in which we get stuffed every time. And there's a lot of bureaucracy, red tape, when it comes to trying to fight against these things, you know. So the reason we do what we do, you know, right now we are allowed, you know, you have rights, and then there are things that you are allowed to do. You have a license, or you have permission to do. Right now, you know, the FDA does not regulate herbal supplements, so we're pretty good right now. we're considered safe until proven to be unsafe, to be proven toxic. So we have a lot of wiggle room, but we have to follow guidelines of, even if we cured everybody in the world of something, we cannot say we cured it. We have to, we can have all the testimonials and whatever, people saying, man, I use their stuff and my diabetes is gone, I got pregnant, but we have to put the FDA statement. This is not meant to cure, treat, or or not medical advice or whatever. We have to put FDA statements in place. We have to have those disclaimers in order for us to operate. And we're fine. Which is the reason why we do things like this. So we hear from you guys. We hear from you guys who are using our supplements and doing our detoxes, so that you make the testimonials. We don't have to say, this is what's going on. You say it for us.
Indeed. Okay, folks.
Janice?
Any questions up here? But carry on.
Yes. So I'm back. My first time was last Wednesday. I was the person who spoke about receiving the vaccine and having a stroke.
We remember you, Janice.
Yes. Okay. So Friday was my day 1. So today's day 6.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Definitely feeling fine. It's a mental game, and it's one that you have to really be ready for. And I was truly ready for this. So my body's adjusting very well to the program and to the products. A little strange, felt like I was gonna vomit this morning, but then it went away. But I'm just amazed at how that brain fog I was having, even though it's day 6, is really like I'm feeling sharper, more sharper than I normally am. I'm feeling energized. And the good thing is my pressure is down, right? And so I have not taken my blood pressure pills since I started. So it's 6 days without being on it. And I monitor myself every day. And I'm amazed at the results compared to when I'm actually on my blood pressure medication. So I'm grateful to you too for putting your heads together and putting together products that bring us back to resetting ourselves. So I'm looking forward to day 7. I take it one day at a time. And after that, I think for myself, this is going to be a lifestyle change for me, because I really feel it so soon in the process. And looking forward to what I can do next to really I want to go back to the doctor, to my cardiologist in January, and he tells me I don't need to be on blood pressure medication anymore. That's my goal.
Right.
Exactly.
That is my goal. I know it impacts the liver. I see what it's done to my mother. I don't want it. It's been in my system for 1 month. It's too much. So,
Right.
Thank you.
And this is the thing, we're very happy to hear that, and this is routine for us, which is why we tell people, when you start doing this process, get off those medications. They tell you that you can't live without, right? You can't live without, you need it. Yes, such and such. We know what the effects are when you start to detoxify, when you start fasting, how important it is, right? How relevant, how essential it is for your body when you refrain from the toxins that you would normally put into your body. Because this is the thing, the point of the medical industry is to keep you on medication. That's the whole point. That's their end game. So that's a tall order when you say you want your cardiologist to tell you that you can now come off the you're hoping that somebody tells you the truth. Oh, you don't need these no more. Yeah, put that in the trash. But their whole system, right, is to get you onto and keep you on medication.
It's all about
Right?
sustaining.
Because the thing is, blood pressure medication is not for blood pressure. It thins your blood. That's all it's for. They're blood thinners. Let's call them what they are. They're not blood pressure medication. They're blood thinners. Or they're not medicine. They're blood thinners. So your blood's having a hard time getting through your blood vessels, right? So, all right, we're going to make the blood smaller then. We're going to make your blood cells smaller to get through the hardened blood vessels, rather than, no, we're going to clean up your blood vessels. See what they do? They don't deal with the issue, which is the blood vessels. They deal with, papering over the crack again. And
so
then,
is there a way to fix the hardening of the vessels?
it's called
deep about the hardening of the heart and the hardening of is there something you can actually do to, I guess, make it unhard?
It's called deep vein, and it's also called fasting.
Okay.
Right. So deep vein is our supplement. There's the fasting, what you're doing, right? And when you fast, it's a natural, your body, the serum nitric oxide is increased. Nitric oxide is a natural vasodilator. All right. So when you refrain from eating food, you increase your nitric oxide, right? And that naturally starts to give flexibility and helps to remove plaque, right? And the hardening of the blood vessels, right? Okay. But deep vein is going in there and it's clearing up the plaque, the plaque, and this is the thing. Cholesterol that gets into your blood vessels is trying to repair damage of blood vessels, which is caused by harsh substances getting into the blood vessels and tearing your blood vessels. Then macrophages getting there, right? And that with the cholesterol causes the plaque, right? So when you start dealing with, when you stop eating the harsh substances that scrape and scratch and inflame your blood vessels, right? You won't have there is no need for the cholesterol to get in there, and then there's no need for the macrophages to get in there. Therefore, you won't have the hardening, you won't have atherosclerosis, right? And you won't have hypertension or high blood pressure or heart disease.
So now you say something that's really interesting, because I have no cholesterol issues. I have no high cholesterol or been diagnosed with cholesterol.
Right.
But then what could be causing the hardening of the heart? Because they said that it runs in the family.
No, what it is that all right, your cholesterol don't have to be high, because cholesterol isn't the problem. Cholesterol is a good substance in the body, right? Your interstitial fluid is cholesterol. The fluid that your brain swims in or is housed in is cholesterol, right? Now there are lipids that cholesterol carry, either it's LDL or HDL, and it's the LDL that they say is the bad one, because it is inflammatory. It initiates or induces inflammatory cells, right? And the inflammatory cells are what do the damage. But cholesterol itself is to help all the lining of your cells, right? That protective barrier is cholesterol, right? So even like myelin sheath that goes the myelin that's around nerves, that's also cholesterol too. So you have to understand, not everything that you hear on TV that's mundanely explained doesn't mean it's science. Doesn't mean it's correct. But it's stuff that's out there and it's normalized and it's become synonymous. They use synonyms. Now we're saying, all right, cholesterol's bad. So normal amounts of cholesterol has a job to do. So when you scrape your blood vessels, right, when there's things irritating or inflaming your blood vessels, it's natural for cholesterol to get in there. It doesn't mean that your cholesterol was high and you got so much cholesterol that cholesterol's like, all right, let's go hang out in the blood vessels for a few days or for a few months. No, it's what you're doing to your blood vessels by what you're eating, And there are fats that you put into your system that gets into the bloodstream, right? Saturated fats and such that cause damage. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Janice. So Janice, just following on from the whole the COVID jab thing, have you had any negative feedback from that since? Are you much better from that now?
I'm not feeling anything from that at all. So the only thing I'm worried about is, potentially I'm exempt medically, CDC,
The second
the
shot, right?
various, I cannot take it, the second shot or any booster. So I'm one of the ones that ended up with that, because there are cases where people are having severe side effects of it. But literally, since taken from having the shot and feeling not really myself, and now since starting, and I'm on day 6, I'm starting to feel like myself again. Not sure if they're one and the same. I'm just, one day, just taking a day at a time. But I do notice the difference in my pressure. So
right. And are you working out? Do you exercise regular?
I meditate. I'm not a big person. I'm not a big person where I need to run or anything. I was an athlete. I do have a elliptical. I do that. I'm on Peloton, so I do get it in. I don't get it in as I used to because of the work and where I work in pharmaceuticals. And so I'm very busy.
Wait, hold it there, Janice. Hold on a minute. Yeah, she just threw in, in pharmaceuticals.
Slipped that one
So
under
you
the
do
radar
work
right
in
there.
pharmaceuticals?
I have worked in the industry for many years. Yes, that's all I'm gonna say.
So you're not at liberty to say who you work for? Wow.
But what role do you do?
So if I guess who you work for, can you just blink twice?
But it almost doesn't matter who she works for. What is it you do? Are you allowed to say not don't divulge anything in the blue book? But are you
quality? I'm in quality.
Okay, you're QA. Okay.
All right, so you got some quality pharmaceuticals that you've given the thumbs up for.
She's in quality. That means it can be lots of different areas, manufacturing, in marketing, I guess, but listen, I've worked in pharmaceuticals for pharmaceutical companies. It's no secret. Well, it's a secret. I signed NDAs. Are those NDAs still pending, outstanding? I don't know. I'll speak to my attorney.
No, but you repented.
Yes, they still stand.
He repented,
I worked in different ones.
He's born again. He repented. He's born again. He's one of us now. Hallelujah.
I've worked for pharmaceutical companies, manufacturing companies, one of the world's largest confectionery and brands. I've seen it all. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen it. I just don't talk much about it. But I mean, for someone like you, you see it both sides, I guess. And I think is when you're in corporate. And here's the thing as well. We've had to tell a lot of people on this call, maybe not you, Janice. You can work for a company and not know what they do. You can work for a company and really not know any secrets whatsoever. It depends what role you're in, right? Coca-Cola employs probably tens of thousands, if not, hundreds of thousands of people around the world. How many of them are close to the syrup? 1%, 0.5%. Most of them are in, menial roles, pouring
Right.
bucket A into bucket 2 and, backing the truck up, And so, yeah, you can absolutely work for some of these big companies and really not know what they do, what's in it. But you sign the blanket NDA, of course, just in case you happen to come across an email and you decide to divulge information. Well, anyway, Janice, always a pleasure having you on. Thanks for sharing that.
One day, Janice is going to be a whistleblower.
She's
going to see her in front of Congress. Yes, ma'am.
Capitol Hill.
We're going to see you, Janice.
What kind of questions do you think they're going to ask her?
Who done it?
Did you approve the memo? What memo? Okay, well, Janice, thanks. Any other questions? We didn't have any hands raised. Unless we had any in the IG.
Has anybody been following what's going on with this Omicron? Is it Omicron or Omicron?
Either, because it's Greek. Isn't it?
It's Greek. It's
right. So
it's false.
So let's talk about that for a second, right? Because it's out of Africa, and anything that comes out of Africa, right?
South Africa, there's a difference. It's not
between
throughout
South Africa.
It's not throughout the diaspora.
I know, but
Only South.
but all it needs to be, if it's from Africa, you know, when wealth is in Africa or whatever, it's that's the Arab side. Anything of any positivity, it's like, oh, that's Morocco. That's not really Africa. That's not Black Africa. But South Africa, you know, where the Boers are, the Dutch and whoever else were, you know, there's a higher white population down there. And it seems that we're on this planet at the moment, wherever there's Europeans, that's where the highest amount of COVID illnesses and COVID deaths are. And Africa as a continent has the lowest amount of deaths, lowest amount of cases, right? So this variant has was discovered by South African PhDs, researchers, scientists, and it's mild. The symptoms are mild. But because they discovered it in South Africa, they've labeled it that, right, this has come out of South Africa. And all restrictions have been placed upon, was it 7 nations? Seven African nations, maybe even more now. At the last toll, it was 7 restrictions of traveling there. So they're killing the
economies.
The
tourism.
Sorry, they're killing tourism. The tourism industry is very important in some of these countries, right? A lot of countries, you know, close to their GDP is tourism, right? So they kill the tourism because of something World Health Organization has decided to call a variant of concern, right? And there was that, what was the variant? The Lambda variant that was in Peru. There was a variant in Peru that was killing Peruvians off. They were falling like flies. And they gave that, what was the rating of that? It was what was the one below concern? I think it's of interest. Oh, that's a variant of interest. But as soon as something comes out of Africa, it's of concern. You know, like, we got to go back into another lockdown. We need to lock down before it gets to the United States. Oh, there's a woman who's been diagnosed with the variant, and so we got to lock down New York. And another thing, while I'm on the soapbox, have you guys noticed how liberals and left-wingers have become Nazis over the last year? A total 180. The libertarians, right? The people who were like, oh, it's all right, man. The hippies, the hippie cultures, they're the most, you know, if you don't agree with them, they want you shot. They want you lined up. They want you drawn and quartered. What do they call it?
Hung, drawn, and quartered.
Hung, drawn, and quartered. Tarred and feathered. If you don't agree with their philosophy. They're the most conformist establishment niggers in the world now. But anyway, that's it for me, man. That's it for me. For the next 2 minutes. That's it from me.
Thank you, Dr. MC. Nadira, welcome.
All right. Okay, here I am. Hello.
Hi.
Soapbox time with Dr. Amsu is brilliant. That's all I have to say about it.
Oh, thank you.
Because you get so amped up about it. Okay, so I have 2 questions. First is concerning body temperature. Like, I feel like most of my adult life, I'm always cold, and I'm just wondering what is the correlation between that and, I guess, hormone balancing and whatever else is going on inside of my body. Like, how do I remedy that issue?
All right. So, have you ever been diagnosed anemic?
Well, yeah, iron deficiency anemia. Yeah. I had
All right.
that.
So,
Okay.
your blood carries nutrients around your body. It's responsible for carrying oxygen, electricity around your body, and when blood is circulating throughout your body correctly, right, your body is going to adjust to, is going to acclimate to temperature, so it raises your body temperature if it gets a bit cold, and lowers it if it gets hot or whatever. So there's good regulation going on, right? When you have a circulatory issue, and anemia is a circulatory issue somewhat, because again, the circulation of your body is about your carriages, i.e. blood cells, having the ability to carry nutrients, enzymes, hormones, whatever, chemicals around the body where they're needed in order to for cells and tissue, organs and systems to operate functionally. So when you have dysfunction, right, i.e. iron deficient anemia, it's a dysfunction, right? Something's gonna give, something's not gonna operate correctly, right? So nutrients are not getting around your body as they should do. So so cells and systems, enzymes, peptides, you know, whatever you want to name them, that are responsible, that, you know, play a part in regulating body temperature, because of your iron deficient anemia, that's a knock-on effect. It's a cascade. All right. So blood also keeps the body at a certain temperature, right? So there's a temperature that blood maintains or falls within a range of normal temperature. When there's an issue with iron deficiency, your blood cells are not formed correctly. All right. So the warmth isn't getting everywhere. So is it in your extremities, like in your fingertips, your toes and all that?
Oh yeah, it's I feel my hands are freezing all the time, and I was just wondering too, it's like is there a cure? Like, will I heal from anemia eventually, or
all right,
is
so
this a chronic thing?
I mean, this is the thing. You have to get your blood levels, your hemoglobin levels back up. That's why we have anemia, right? And the anemia dietary guide, which is telling you how to get your iron so that your body can normalize and start functioning correctly. Once your body starts to function correctly, you know, the habit will become nature, that your body will start to do what it's supposed to, as long as you don't fall back into old habits and you know, omitting essential nutrients out of your diet, right? Let me ask you something. Are you married, Nadira?
No, I'm not.
All right, because you know, I've had a couple of wives in my time. I couldn't stand. One thing I couldn't stand.
Where are we going with this?
Here's where we're going. Something I couldn't stand was a cold-footed woman. You know, you're in the bed.
Here we go.
Come in with a cold foot and touch you on your ankle, on your shin.
Deal breaker, right?
Oh, I'm telling you, like you might be sleeping, you know, and it's like somebody whacks you with a belt or something. It's like electric shock.
So until we get your, you gotta wear socks with her, long socks.
I can't stand women who wear socks to bed.
Uh-oh.
And women with cold feet. It's like look. Sort it out, Nadira. Let's get it sorted out. Let's get it sorted out. All right.
Yeah.
Men around the world don't have to suffer cold-footed women.
Well, I'm tired of walking around in like full-on clothes, like socks and like, you know, the full gamut. I'm tired of that.
Right.
I mean,
do you get cold feet in summer as well? Like even in the summer?
No, it's not as intense in the summertime. Like, no, I actually get really hot in the summertime. That's the interesting part.
So you see, regulation, the temperature regulation, it goes both ways.
Yeah. So it's.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I also ordered deep vein. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah.
I ordered that to help me out. And I have anemia and chlorella, and I'm
Right.
still doing all that, and vitamin the D3, but I felt like having the deep vein will help to push
Right.
push the blood around.
Right. Now, did anybody see the heard about the study that Dr. Stephen Gundry did about the acute cardiac syndrome that's caused by the vaccines?
No.
All right. So, has anybody heard of Dr. Stephen Gundry?
I've heard of
I
the
haven't.
study. I've heard of the study.
So, all right, you heard of the study. So, there's the study. Like right now, the world's waiting on the actual full study because there's an abstract that the American Heart Association is circulating where they did a study, but only his name is on it. Now, not a group of other doctors are involved, but everyone's afraid to put their name on it because they don't want to lose funding from pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
So, you know, Janice's pen that she's like, all right, I'm approving your funding. Like, no funding for you. All right, we're gonna keep on guessing, Janice, till you blink twice. We're gonna keep on guessing. But Stephen S. Gundry, Dr. Stephen Gundry, he's a cardiologist, very famous cardiologist. You might see commercials with him on Instagram where he's talking about leaky gut syndrome. He's the guy that weighed a lot, and then he found out issues were with his digestive system and leaky gut and whatever. And he says, I'm a cardiologist. He invented some shit too, right? So he's very famous, right? But he's done this study. And the study was done over a long period of time. I think it was like 12 months. And it was a pretty large range of people. And he found that people who take the mRNA vaccine are suffering like there's what you call a pulse score, right? A pulse score, right? And the pulse score for risk of cardiac arrest or acute cardiac syndrome among the general population, right? People unvaccinated, 11%. There's 11% risk with the standard American diet, right? After doses of the mRNA vaccines, it jumps from 11% risk to 25% risk. So it more than doubles the risk. So right now, because it's not yet peer reviewed, and there are peers who have found similar situations in their studies, independent of that study, there are other cardiologists who have come to the same conclusion, but they are afraid to release their studies for fear that they'll be shut down. Just food for thought.
I have one more question. Thank you for the information. The next question was, what is like the correlation between emotional health and your hormone balancing? Like, is there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What exactly is that? Because like, does it also affect, okay, so we're going in the northern region, we're going into, and all northern places, going into winter, right?
Right.
So we're inside more, right? So what is the connection between that, and what are some things that I could be doing? Like, you know, I walked today outside, but, you know, obviously it's still cold. So what are some things that I could do to like kind of help myself through that?
All right, so she's throwing some low balls. You know, knock it out of the park now. Thank you for that question. Now, here's what's very, 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 very important, right? The correlation between emotions, mental health, and hormones and the winter, right?
Yeah.
Is this. We are chemical beings. We are electrical biochemical beings, right? Everything about us, every mood that we can get in is that we can find ourselves in, whether it's a good mood or a bad mood or indifferent, whatever, they're all controlled and regulated by chemicals, whether they are neurotransmitters or hormones or peptides or enzymes or minerals that help to regulate a specific thing, right? Adrenals play an important role in the pathogenesis of depression and anxiety. So we have what is called the adrenal hypothalamic pituitary, right? Yes, HPA, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, right? So the interplay between those glands, right, determine the mental health or the response, the behavioral responses that we exhibit through our daily routine of our lives, right? So when the HPA axis is hyperactive, overactive, we tend to be anxious. We can have anxiety attacks. We can go into depression, be suicidal. So there are chemicals or nutrients that help to regulate that, to keep it at bay. That, all right, you become a bit hyper right there. You know, you're getting a bit anxious, right? So the same way how you might, somebody says something about your mom, now your back's up. And you're like, all right, say something else. Say something else about my mama, right? And while you're saying that, you're starting to think what you're going to do to this person if they say something else about your mama, right? What stops you from doing that is energy. So let's just say they did, yeah, your mama such and such. Yeah, oh! So what's going to calm you down is energy. You require energy, and the energy is in the form of glucose and other substances. One of those other substances is a hormone called vitamin D. D3
right.
to be exact, cholecalciferol, right? Now, here's the thing when it comes to Black women. Black women are the most deficient in vitamin D3 than anybody else. What does this mean? How does this translate? And correct me if I'm wrong, Janice, because you probably signed this off last week. Antidepressant medication is most popular among Black women, African American women. And it interferes with your hormones even more, right? They have a highly estrogenic effect on the body, which creates even more depression. So it's an ever decreasing circle. So everything about our moods, our behaviors is chemical. So everything that we do, whether, you know, when somebody tells you a joke and it's funny, there's a cascade of chemicals, dopamine and all kinds of things, which there's a rush. And then after that rush, your body has to now calm itself down. So I don't know when was the last, think about the last time somebody told a joke or you saw something funny or something happen that you laughed until you cried and you had to catch your breath, right? So while you're catching your breath and all, that's your body coming back to homeostasis, releasing endorphins, releasing neurotransmitters, releasing hormones, releasing all kinds of chemical substances to bring you back to balance. Now, when your body lacks those resources, you can be in trouble. There are some people that laugh themselves to death. Some people cry themselves to death. Some people, you know, get so angry, they have a stroke. Right? So our behavior, our moods, right? So when women are going through their cycles and they snap and they do whatever, and it's like, it's just my hormones. No, it's a dysfunction. Your hormones are not balanced. So it's causing this irrational behavior. So what do? we try to create synthesized chemicals in order to bring balance back. But those synthesized chemicals have side effects. All right. And that's where, you know, the synthesized form of nutrient therapy isn't good. Right? So in nature, there are substances like Mikey was talking about, where if we were feeling a bit down and, you know, our body couldn't do something naturally, we might, you know, we might eat the cocoa leaf or whatever, right? For temporary relief. But it wasn't a replacement of what happens endogenously. So right now, the problem with that we're facing right now, we're going into another winter, right? Where if you are above 35 degrees of latitude, you're not going to be getting any UVBs in order to synthesize vitamin D3. So right there, Black people are at a loss because we need to spend even more time in the sun than anybody else. But during winter, there's zero. If you're above 35 degrees of latitude, right? There's zero. Plus now the pressures and the stresses, right? All the stresses from another possible lockdown. Am I going to be furloughed? Am I going to lose my job altogether? Small business owners, is my business going to survive another lockdown? Right? Throughout the first lockdown, the amount of corporate America that lost their jobs, and a lot of them are Black women. The administrators of a lot of corporate America are Black women, right? They lost their jobs. A lot of sales forces lost their jobs. So with all of that, the stress, the depression, couple that with not having the resources to bring you back to homeostasis, it's a recipe of disaster.
Indeed.
And I bet you that the big pharma has
a cure for that.
Has some kind of treatment. Not true? Not true, Janice?
He do that box, you know.
Oh, you are Caribbean, okay. But we talked about this. We may not know for years, for decades, the full extent or the cost of the lockdown of coronavirus. You know, good or bad. You know, whatever the outcomes are, whatever treatments were put out there, how the world is going to respond to it. We may not know for a very, very long time the true cost and effects of it. You know, one could argue maybe there's some changes made in the world now which are good. You know, there are countries that had zero in terms of healthcare provision. Not saying that the coronavirus enabled that, but what it did, it enabled them to at least respond to that. So there are clinics in places there never used to be clinics. However, generally, for most, especially the Western world, where most of us are on this call, it's a drastic change. It's a drastic clampdown and a complete rethinking of our societies. And it's never going to go back. It's never going to go back. There'll be some slip. You know, I went to the, we went to get lunch today. Well, you didn't go. I did all the work. These guys don't do anything around here. And I went to the Caribbean, very famous Caribbean chain of restaurants, and they've got the PVC. So they've rebuilt the store and they've put these plastic screens up now so people can't, you know, get over the food. Now they've always had covers over the food. And, you know, there was a conversation about, you know, the amount of money is being made from companies now having to retrofit places, putting in plastic screens and, you know, touchless sensors. And who makes the hand sanitizer? Begins with P.
Purell.
I was going to say Pfizer. Pfizer's everywhere, man.
Hey, it may be Pfizer.
Purell,
Yeah.
that's it. Purell.
How much money has Purell made from this? And, you know, you go into a store now, they've got these stations where you can
Purell
pump.
Procter and Gamble.
It's one of them. I can Google it. But the point I'm making is that, you know, how many industries spun up, you know, the richest companies in the world made more money during the lockdown than they did prior to the lockdown than they've ever made.
Bezos doubled his wealth.
Than they've ever made, you know. And so, you know, these things advantage certain people and not others. I think we just need to be very shrewd as to how we come out of this and not be fully taken in by it so we lose out. You know, we don't have to panic You just have to be, very cautious and shrewd again about the information you take in and the actions you do take. And this is definitely one of those things. Detoxing. Think about this. A lot of people prior to COVID-19 and the virus and the vaccinations and lockdown didn't detox. They never actually considered their health until they got locked in the house. A lot of people didn't consider their mental health until they got locked in the house. I did a piece about people being locked at home with their abusers. People who needed to get out of the house to get away from their abusers, or people they didn't like, or crazy family, were now locked in the house with these people. They don't talk about it. The stats will come out soon. Well, suicide, murder.
Well, check this
the
out,
rates
though,
went up.
right? So
domestic.
Why would, and just to add to the answer that I was giving you, Nadira, right? So there's the mental health situation that's going on with emotions, right? So when we're talking about emotions, we're talking about mental stability when we're dealing with emotions, right? Imagine now, during lockdown, McDonald's, Burger King, and I'm naming names.
Name them.
I'm naming names.
Name and shame.
Subway, right? Taco Bell. They were allowed to be open as essential resources for food, right? These are the same places that high levels of phthalates are found in their food. Phthalates having the estrogenic effect and causing depression and anxiety and a plethora of reproductive disorders, including infertility, sterility, right? They were allowed to be open while businesses, restaurants, were being told you can't open. Now, your mom and pop's restaurants, right? They don't have a whole chain for backup. But places like McDonald's, these are legacy companies that could withstand a lockdown of 3 months. They just reopen and rehire staff and whatever. But the quality of the foods, and think about this, during lockdown, how many people started buying McDonald's and Burger King and Subway and all that? Imagine you're feeling a bit depressed. You can't afford to buy your quality food, so you have to now go and buy the cheap stuff, the dollar menu, right? You're buying burgers and all that. And this is exacerbating, the food that you're eating is exacerbating mental illness, right? So winter is coming, right? It's here. Winter's here now, right? Everywhere's cold again. And we're hearing about different strains that we got to lock down. And the anxiety that it's causing. People are anxious. On the edge of their seat, oh man, are we going to go into another lockdown? What is that doing to emotional health, mental health? What is it doing? At a time where the sun's gone for the next 3-4 months.
Oh.
So, we're trying to get information out there so that people can best equip themselves for the winter that we're going into. But again, that's me done off my soapbox there. I hope this is giving you some clarity into the link between correct nutrition,
right,
emotions, and
cold feet.
There you go.
Yes. Enhance.
Thank you, Nadira. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
I know you're not going anywhere. Thank you.
Huh? Oh no, I'm sticking around.
Tanya, you look like you're back at home, Tanya. Or are you invaded someone else's house?
No, I just took a picture of my living room and put it up as a backdrop.
Okay.
That way I'm not totally faking out.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. How you guys doing? Everybody's good?
Yes.
What was my question? I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure just put it. Oh, here it is. So yeah, the lockdown. The thought of a lockdown makes me crazy. I'm hoping that does not happen again. But what was the question I have? Oh, so I know the answer to this question, but I want to hear from you because, and maybe it'll be more believable. Things that pass through the mother through breastfeeding, Nicotine is one of them, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Even though, all right. So the human body, being a remarkable machine that it is,
Yeah.
there are filters in place in order to protect children from toxins that get into the body.
Okay.
Very few toxins, or there are specific toxins that can travel into breast milk, right? There are specific toxins or chemicals. So even when you're dealing with certain plant-based foods, right, that may be a bit rich for children, you know, there are things where we might say to somebody, all right, don't breastfeed, or, you know, or careful when you're pregnant, you know, even though, you know, for most foods, that's not the case, but with specific things. But things like nicotine are known to get into breast milk, get through whatever channels and get into the ducts and get through. Yes.
Yeah,
Like
that's I mean, yeah. No, I mean, I know that as an addiction specialist, but wanted to hear from a doctor so I can say I don't listen to me. But thank you, that's good. So let's see.
Now I'll try to find some papers.
Okay.
Some white papers on the subject as well and get it to you.
Yeah, I was just curious because I was worried about future asthma and stuff like that for the infant. But you know, I don't know. Can't convince some people sometimes. What was the other question? Yeah, babies with constipation, like when they first start regular food, do you have any idea? I know you're not a pediatrician, but any idea why like their stomach may hurt when they go? How long does that process last?
Well, it's because their digestive system has not fully developed yet. Okay. It takes time for the digestive system to fully develop, which is why babies, you know, breastfeeding can go 2-3 years as the main staple diet of a child, while the digestive system is developed. And this is the thing. Remember, we live in a society where we're eating substances that as adults we can't digest them properly.
I know.
And people are very quick to start, you know, giving their baby some yam and dumpling and business. The hardest food is like, yam some of that. And you cut it up into smaller pieces, like that's gonna help.
That's true. That's so true.
a lot of children being born now with umbilical hernias as well because of.
But that's what I'm gonna say. I know the baby does have had a bad hernia, but now it looks like it's better. But is there any correlation between?
Well, check this out. Well, let me throw something out there as well. All right. When do children start to form teeth so that they can masticate correctly? When does that happen?
About 5 months.
6 months.
All right. When do they have a full set of teeth?
Oh, not till like a year.
Because the 2 teeth that go at the front ain't gonna help with nothing. Ain't gonna help you chew no dumpling.
They'll only bite your finger.
That's why we give them porridge.
Right. So check this out. So porridge is one of the things that is, you know, domestication has been done for you, right? It's been done, basically something you've done earlier. But when people start giving their children little pieces of meat and stuff like that, you're causing inflammation. And hernias are usually caused by strain, but they can also be caused through inflammation.
So how do they get them if they're born with it? Because like my when I was pregnant, don't laugh at me, 33 years ago.
Right, again.
I had a hernia. Oh, my daughter was born with the hernia.
Naval hernia.
I didn't have one, but my daughter was.
And it's because it's not fully developed by the time of birth. That's all that is.
They told me from carrying luggage around because I moved a lot during that time. A lot.
To you as an adult.
You as an adult.
I was pregnant carrying a lot of.
You can strain. It goes by strain, strenuous, whatever. But if a child is born with a hernia, it's usually because, you know,
premature
during gestation, lack of nutrition that delayed the development of certain organs and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Then that's that was definitely me, because I was very thin. Long story, but yeah, that's all me. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I was just wondering. I think that's it. The last question was about something you just said, that Dr. Grundy.
Gundry.
Yeah. He talks
Black
about.
people mess up someone's name, you know.
I know. Jack it all up. I'm sorry. Don't quote me on it.
No, it's cool. Gundries. Dr. Stephen
Gundry.
Gundry. Yes.
Thank you. I looked at some of what he was saying, but he was saying about ligaments, certain beans, and something else. Oh Jesus.
Lectin.
Lectin. Oh, right. So what can you eat? Because basically it's like today I had some lentils. So lentils are okay, but then there's which one's not good? I forgot. There's some that are not good, some that are good. It's hard to decipher because I'm trying my best.
I mean, as hard as it is, but this is what I'm saying. Rocket scientists figure out how to get people to the moon or to get into space, right? The technology that we have right now didn't come easy. That how many people from across the world can communicate? It's not easy. But when it comes to our bodies and what we put into our bodies, right? We have to take the time to know what's good from what's not good. You know, because we trusted, think about it. We in the West, especially in the West, we believe what we're told so easily. So we don't pay no mind to certain things because, you know, my government ain't gonna lie to me. The standard American diet, the nutritionists from, you know, the FDA and them, they got my back. They're making sure I'm not putting no poison into my body. But then why are black people more likely to die of anything than anybody else? It's because they're liars. Them lie. They've been lying to us, right? It's not been for us. So we're catching all kinds of hell and sickness and death and whatnot. Why? Because we're falling for the okie doke. We fell for it for too long. So now's the time. All right, we gave you that, you know, and you know, when you don't use something, it atrophies. We atrophied in our nutrition. We atrophied as a people, right? We put too much trust in them when they ate their McDonald's and their KFC and all of that stuff and took their pills because, all right, I got a pain here. All right, take this. Here's a trial thing that we got going on and we feel special. All right, I'm on this thing. All right, it's causing more illness, right? So now we're in the situation where, okay, we're going to look into this ourselves. We're going to take our health into our own hands now. Our lives are in our own hands right now. And they're putting up some kind of resistance. But right now, while we still have freedoms in certain modalities in life, we need to hold on to them. We need to hold on to them with both hands. You know, so when there's things like we learn about lectins, what it does to the intestines, and you know, and the mucous membrane of our intestines gets punctured by these lectins, right? We have to look at it and say, man, I'm not gonna eat that shit no more. I'm not gonna end up with leaky gut and then impurities gets into my bloodstream and causes rashes and whatever else can, you know. From time, listen, food has to be processed before it gets into the bloodstream. It has to be processed. Is it toxic or not? Okay, let's break it down into nutrients where it's bioavailable that the body can actually use it. Because even if there's a substance that might be good for us in the end, if it gets into our bloodstream prematurely, it can kill us. Our bodies have this mechanism for filtering and synthesizing, adding enzymes and peptides and what have you to substances to make it bioavailable, where we can now utilize it, we can metabolize it, right? It becomes usable. But stuff that's not usable, it's like somebody who's iron deficient, anemic, right? If I give them a chunk of iron and say, nyam that, what's going to happen if they start eating iron? When they give you iron pills, for instance, what happens? Constipation. Your stomach don't know what to do with it. It's not bioavailable. So you need bioavailable iron in folate, or whatever other form that you can get it in, that is not going to do damage to your intestines, that your good bacteria and your digestive enzymes can work with to get that substance into your liver, where it's going to now synthesize it into nutrients that your body can use. Even sunlight gets processed and becomes nutrient. But the raw sunlight itself, you don't open your mouth and let the sun hit you in the mouth. There's a process for it to go through, right? So when we get information from researchers, people who are doing studies, and they do the white papers, and they have clinical trials and studies, and they've done it, they tried it out on mice first and whatnot, right? And their findings when it comes to natural substances and harmful substances that are found in processed foods and whatever, we got to pay attention. We got to read labels. We've got to, we get something and it's like, it says organic in big, FDA approved, organic, whatever. We're like, man, that's good for me then. But I always say this to my children: if I took a shit in the corner, that's organic. But if you eat my shit, you will die. You see what I'm saying? There's organic substances that will kill you. So because something is FDA organic, it doesn't mean it's good. Read the other ingredients. That means there's something in it is organic. Doesn't mean it's totally organic. You see what I'm saying? So there are parts per million that fecal matter can be in water. That FDA says, all right, that's, it's 2 below the threshold, so that's good, drink up. But it's still fecal matter, it's still doo-doo. You see what I'm saying? So we have to read labels and know when we see chemicals, all right, what are those chemicals? When we're given, whether it's a vaccine or any pills, we're supposed to read, find out, all right, what's in this, doc? Or read what ingredients are in pills, and then find out what kind of side effects they have. But we trust too much. When we see our GPs or whoever, right? They say, all right, we're going to put you onto this blood thinner. We're going to do this, that, the other. And we don't even check. We don't even do and we have Google and search engines.
No one's doing
to do a lot of research. Back in the day, I remember when we were young, you had to go library to the reference part and sift through all kinds of, for those also are old enough to remember that shit, right?
Books.
We had to go library and get a bunch of books and look like an idiot. Might get robbed on your way home. Look at that nerdy kid with the books. You might get robbed on your way home, but we had to go through that to research. Now we can just put a word into a search engine or a phrase and a whole bunch of stuff comes up. So we're at a time where we shouldn't be fooled by anything anymore.
Not at all. Was that his fourth soapbox for the day? Fifth?
That was a 2-minute answer.
A short soapbox.
On a good roll.
Stuck on you, Tom Cruise. Tanya, was that it for you?
Something in the juice. Something in my juice.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's it, I guess, for now. Thank you.
Caffeine.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have some
Thank you,
questions
Tanya.
from the IG, but I think that I'm trying to get those people to dial over. So we're going to go to Dr. Keela, who's in a Bahamian sunset or somewhere.
No, not in Bahamian.
Oh, okay, here we go. All right.
Driving, just listening and whatnot.
Don't do it. Don't multitask while you're driving, women. Don't do it.
No. Right now, I park a little bit just to be able to talk to you briefly
See
before
what
I
you did
pull
that
up.
move there,
You see the little swerve, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So just in brief, my question. Well, my doctor called and said that my hemoglobin was 7. He was like, "How you feeling?" I'm feeling fine, but I think it's because I've been shedding the roids that it's been that low. So I suspect that as more of them shed, that will taper off. And what?
And have you been ensuring that you're getting your iron-rich foods as well?
Yeah, but I have to eat my iron-rich foods in the morning too. So because when I was taking my breakfast smoothie, which is basically fruits and kale, anti-inflammatory fruits and kale, my hemoglobin was much better. It was maybe about 10, 12.
Okay.
But that's where I hover. Plus, I have 2 menses a month. But once this stuff gets corrected, I'm hoping that it go down to 1. But my question is, like, when later in the day, like about 7, 8 o'clock, I am done, like done. I'm getting close to my bedtime now. I used to eat a lot of chocolate, but I had somebody, a buddy I used to eat chocolate with, my dad. I haven't had eaten chocolate in a long time because my dad's not around anymore. I'm wondering, because I don't want to take iron pills and suffer with backup. I really don't.
Right.
What else can I add?
Well,
Like
the thing is,
beans. I do black beans. Those always help. I hate sarsaparilla tea.
did you get the anemia dietary guide?
I don't. Did we get that guide?
No.
Maybe we didn't get.
Did you get the anemia? The anemia.
Yes, I have the
You got
anemia.
anemia.
Mhm.
All right. So when you buy the anemia, you get a link to get anybody. If you just buy the single bottle, you will get the book with it. You will get a link.
I'll go back and check.
But what you do is just send me an email, and I will send you the link to the anemia dietary guide, because that's going to tell you what foods inhibit your iron absorption, which foods are rich in iron. So a lot of people who do the smoothie in the morning, they put fruits in it like blueberries and stuff, which inhibit iron absorption. So even though blueberries are good for antioxidant and whatever, it's not good for iron absorption. So, but your dark chocolate, right? Because it's rich in cocoa, right?
Yeah, cocoa.
Right.
Cocoa, and
I
that.
do the 85%. Because
Right.
Yeah, you want 65 and above.
You have to get it from Ghana.
Mm.
No, I think we get it. No, it is from Ghana. Yes, most chocolate is from Ghana.
A lot of it. Yeah.
Yes.
You hear a lot in it.
Yeah. Chocolate.
Oh, I just got it. I'm okay, y'all. It's too late in the day. I'm a little.
No, we're talking about
No,
cocoa.
we're talking about cocoa, right, real quick.
Cacao.
Okay. So quick question: is blackberries off the list for me right now? Because I like blackberries.
Blackberries should be off the list, but black mulberries are good.
Okay.
Black mulberries, right?
And then
dragon fruit. Get dragon fruit.
Tastes like water.
Well, yeah. Well, drink water. Drink the water thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Raw pumpkin seeds.
I can do those. Raw pumpkin
seeds. Like when you do your smoothie, do the raw pumpkin seeds in your smoothie as well. Blend that up in your smoothie.
Yeah.
Remove because what is certain polyphenols from certain fruit inhibit iron absorption. There's that wrestle for absorption. So things that are rich in calcium are no good. High protein stuff is no good when you're trying to get your iron. But copper, iron, vitamin C, these work great together.
Okay, I do a lot of vitamin C. I can do that. That's I can definitely do that. Now, and thank you by the way. The second thing is when you were explaining I think somebody asked about why is it that all of a sudden this new thing, and why is it that wherever people travel to, the people who have been, and that's where the rates are higher. The thing is, it's stressful to live in the West, and then your cortisol is always high, and then your epinephrine is always high.
Yep.
It turns out that those reshape the signaling patterns in the immune system. So when Dr. Gundry is finding that this acute myocarditis, whatever going on, what it is that the immune system can't switch from generalized surveillance and inflammation to specific targeted and localized information. So
Right.
basically it's putting people in a state of autoimmune disease. It's creating autoimmune disease, but
Right.
nobody can say that. And that's why we didn't need someone big to tell us that racism is an environmental toxin. We've known that. But the thing is, it's one of the worst ones because it's so pervasive and it directly attacks your immune system and every tissue in your body. And it melts your collagen, so you're going to age faster. Your joints are going to hurt. But the thing is, it either oversensitizes the immune system. And so autoimmune diseases are most prevalent among Black women, of course. Estrogen predominates. And then the second most common is cancer. So when you're under chronic stress and then you get an acute episode of stress on top of that chronic stress, your epinephrine receptors on your immune cells and your cortisol receptors on your immune cells downregulate. So even if you do secrete the cytokines, you don't get the fine-tuned, laser-sharp immune response. It starts attacking everything, your gut, your joints, your heart, everything. And so it's putting fire on everything. And so it literally takes you to remove yourself from the source of chronic stress. And it takes about a month before your whole immune system starts to show signs of recovery, and a total of 3 months till it renormalizes. So people don't recognize, they like the amenities of living in the West, but shoot, if you can't get away from stressful people, they will kill you.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly. And this is the thing as well. We're coming into the holidays, right? And I got a text today from my son's college, right? So my son's college sent out this text, and I get these texts every now and again. It's like to do with mental health, and do you feel alone? It's coming up to holidays and a lot of people feel lonely and stressed and whatever. We're coming into a time of year, right, of the holidays. Now, where we come from, holiday means that what you call vacation, right? What you call vacation, we call it holidays in the UK, right? We go on holiday, you guys say we go on vacation. But what we found is this: people like to travel and go somewhere where they can chill out for a certain amount of time to de-stress. During the lockdown, during what's going on right now, it's like now you can't travel, right? They don't want people traveling abroad, right? They don't want people coming in, right? They've now restricted where you can travel abroad, right? These are the red zones. You can't go here, can't go there, right? Well, if you go there, man, we might not let you back in, right? You have to go through whatever. So they've restricted vacation or holidays, right? They've restricted it, while the pressures that we will usually go on vacation to alleviate have mounted. So it's a double-edged sword. And Black women have the worst time of it because they're the most sensitive. And remember, vitamin D, D3, provides CAMPs, cathelicidin antimicrobial peptides, right? That help. And D3 is prevalent for over 2,000 immune processes in the body. It has a magical way of initiating non-inflammatory immune cells while inhibiting.
D, right?
Yeah, while it inhibits inflammatory, pro-inflammatory, immune cells. So things like interleukin 6 and TNF alpha, these proteins that are pro-inflammatory, that are inflammatory, that cause all the damage to stuff. Vitamin D is absolutely essential to calm those niggas down, right? To say, nah, no, not you, we're not initiating, you chill out. But there's a deficiency. There's a deficiency. So I always say this, there's no such thing as cold and flu season. It's vitamin D3 deficient season because we don't get the sun. So when, you know, the birds migrate, why do you think the birds migrate to the south during the winter? Because they want to get UVB. They want to get the sunshine, right? They're getting their D3, right? We stay in the cold and we become more susceptible to microbes, microbial infections. This is why we catch colds, and you know, now's the time for respiratory infections and illnesses, sinus infections and illnesses, right? Because D3 is at its lowest. So
I wanted to
D3.
give you a compliment too about your formulations. Speaking on the D3. No, Cap.
No, go on.
Just straight talk.
All
So I had a major knee injury after I started the regimen, right? And remember, well, you probably don't remember. You talked to a lot of people. I said my knee was hurting. Well, I ended up injuring that knee. And it was a serious injury. My orthoped, looking at my MRI, thought, he was like, okay, for sure, surgery. But in the interim, I think the Olympian came in, right? So I started taking Olympian, and specifically the joint RX, and then there's some D we added to that, and something else for the bones. I forgot.
Osteo RX.
Right. So I went for MRI. MRI looked bad. Okay? Bad. I was in physical therapy for 3 weeks prior to the MRI. Wasn't going well, but I stuck with it. By the 4th week, followed up with the orthoped. He was like, let me see you walk. I'm walking. I was like, can I take off this brace? Because the brace is annoying me. He saw me walk. He was like, I had you come in to schedule surgery. Did you see your MRI? I said, yeah. He said, what's your pain level? The pain level hovered around like 2, 3 at that time. Now I'm 1, 2.
Right.
He was like, I know you said you took what you took. I still can't figure out how you walking this well. Because by your MRI, you should not be able to walk. The MRI showed vertical and lateral tears in the lateral meniscus with multiple cysts and diffuse pockets of inflammation surrounding the cyst. He was like, that would have been an automatic surgery. I still can't understand how you're walking. So the turmeric, the cinnamon, the moringa, the soursop, and then the Olympian, it worked because I started the herbs before we got the Olympian, and then I added the Olympian to them, and I don't even need crutches anymore. I don't need the brace. So your stuff works. You're on point with your formulation. So I'm glad you did it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's
So
all I want
just drive
to say.
careful.
Yeah.
Just drive careful while you're driving.
Yeah, I know I'm a little rough on myself sometimes, but you know, you got to take care of what you must take care of. Take care, gentlemen. I'm just going to listen now.
Thank you,
Okay,
Doc.
thanks, Keela.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Doc.
Wow, miracles there. So yeah, great to hear things like that.
Right, just to show, you know, the body just needs the right resources.
Yeah.
Heal itself.
So we've got about 10 minutes or so. We've got a few questions, quite a few. Some came in from the IG, but I want to get to the ones on the Zoom first, and we'll jump on the IG ones. So Miss Amana, how are you doing? She's fine with the meat there. Amana, you there? Miss Tiru? Probably stepped away. I can go to an IG question and come back. Waiting for Amana. You know, the minute I do that, she's going to come on, right?
Mhm.
So, Dr. Amsu, we had a question from the IG, Shanine, I think it is, asking any help with acne on the jaw. Now, I wish people would join the Zoom so we can ask questions, because acne on the jaw, I mean, so
acne
many
in general,
causes.
right?
Yeah, so many things can cause acne.
Acne in general, you know, hormonal, why they call acne usually has the term hormonal, is because there's a hormonal imbalance. You have a hormonal imbalance that's causing inflammation. You know, when we have any kind of spots, outbreaks, breakouts, whatever, it's a response. It's a inflammatory response either to hormones or to substances that we're eating. So there's stuff in your diet that, you know, I know people when they eat any kind of candy,
That's all, yeah.
they have breakouts on their face, you know, whether it's on their cheeks, on their foreheads, on their nose, whatever, because it's causing an inflammatory response. And this is something, you know, when you have breakouts on your face, it's usually indicative of stuff that's going on in your body at the same time. So, you know, it's not just about what's going on in your face, it's about what's going on internally as well. So it's either, you know, when somebody says, right, I got spots on my face, it can be so many different things, like what Mr. Breaks just said. There's so many things, but usually it's down to hormonal imbalance, and that hormonal imbalance is caused by the substances that you are ingesting, whether it's what you're eating, what kind of soap you're using on your face, what underarm deodorant you're using, you know, what kind of makeup you use on your on your face, hair oil, conditioners. It can be so many different things, but it's indicative that, you know, whatever you're doing, it's not working out in your body, so you have to detox. And we do have derma in and derma out for skin conditions. That's one that's taken sublingually, the other one, which is topical. Derma in is held under the tongue like our other supplements, and derma out is an oil-based formula which you rub topically. So we have solutions. And also, you know, you have to we do have a skin detox that we're getting ready to launch, and we've been talking about it for a while, but we've been too busy to get it out there. But it'll be coming soon.
Right.
But you can get the derma in and the derma out, and you can get fountain, and you can get stability. You can get those right now.
So that was Shine and Shea. I think Shanine, I can't tell. Some of these IG names, I really wish people put dots and dashes in the names, because they run on. But if you can join the Zoom or comment on that, give us some feedback in the Zoom or the YouTube, and we'll know if that helped. Okay, moving on. We'll try and get through some of these quickly before we get back to our Zoom callers. Miracle Bodies has been on the IG for a while. I had a few questions and comments actually, but was asking about CBD. Can CBD help with emotional imbalances?
Somewhat. It's not the be all and end all, but it does help with inflammation. You know, CBD, cannabidiol, is one of the powerful constituents, properties of cannabis, of marijuana, and it has very powerful medicinal anti-inflammatory properties. So inflammation does affect moods. It's the root cause of mental illness. So CBD does help to calm down. It helps. It's a antipsychotropic, right? Meaning it's antipsychotic. So people who so THC is the psychotropic substance that causes psychosis, that causes the voice and hallucinations and whatever, right? And it's balanced by cannabidiol, by CBD. So you know, when people say they smoke weed to take the edge off, if they're smoking weed that's high in THC, they might be adding fuel to the fire. A lot of people lose it. And you know, we know what's behind the whole legalization of weed is to get that high THC content out, you know, being consumed, and then the new prison is going to be through mental illness. People are going to be getting sectioned, not because they commit a crime, just because they're not behaving right. They have you know, there are behavioral orders that can have you locked up until a doctor says, all right, he or she can rejoin society. You know, the new prisons are going to be you know, psychiatric.
Yeah. Okay. More questions from the IG. A couple comments here. Now, Drews, I don't know if you were able to join the Zoom or the YouTube, preferably the Zoom. So I don't know what feedback I can get from you. But he was asking if we had consultations, if we could provide consultations in Canada. Well, the answer is yes. We
No,
do private
in person.
No. I'm going to answer the question. That
No,
Zoom.
I've had.
You spoke to him already?
I was hoping that he was going to join today because I was asking if he can do an in-person consultation in Canada, in Toronto. So
is he in Toronto?
Yeah, I think it's him that's talking about Toronto, because I think the same person had asked on the Rich panel.
Okay.
Right. And we had Dr. Sani, but Dr. Sani is moving to the United States, so she's not able. But I will speak to Dr. Tashani. It's funny that Sani and Tashani.
Yes.
But anyway, I'll speak to Dr. Tashani, who is also in Toronto. So
he said yes, him.
Yeah. So I'll speak to Dr. Tashani so that you can go and see her. I'll get her information and I'll pass that on to you, so that you can give her a call and go and see her. So keep just check your IG. I'll try to do it tomorrow, because by the time we're done here today, I'll probably go home and just sleep.
All right, Juice. Hopefully that helped. You can always drop us an email tomorrow as well, or try and get through to us. support@greatblackdetox.com. That's our email address if you want to shoot something to us. But just ping us a reminder so Dr. Amsu can get on Dr. Tashani, so we can get you looked after up there in Canada. Cool. Okay, Amana, are you back? Okay, Amana's not back. We're going to get to you. You're probably going to be our last caller.
Desi, are you there, Desi? It's one of them.
Right, one of them. So there's other questions about what beans we can eat. We kind of went over that. We'll come back to that maybe. Can you talk about chia seeds or chia seeds? So let me get to, in fact, if Mom's got Laverne, let's get to you, because we're going to have just a few minutes here. If there's time over, we'll go back to the IG. How you doing, Laverne?
Hi, Laverne.
Hi, I'm doing fine, thank you. I had a quick question for the is anemia. I want to say it right. Okay, anemia.
There you go.
Can take that. Yeah, you can, because I see there's foods that you cannot eat, but whilst taking that, you know, those are what prevent the absorption of the iron. So, can you do it like with on an empty stomach? Yours, not no other.
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
and the supplements, because they go taken under the tongue. It don't matter if you eat or not.
Yeah.
It goes into the bloodstream. But the anemia is gonna provide high levels of iron that your body needs. But we do encourage that when you do eat foods, that you do iron-rich foods when you eat, so that you get your hemoglobin levels back up.
Along with taking that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I see you said if you do eat the foods that will prevent it, you do it 2 hours before, 2 hours after taking
Right.
it. Okay, so that's why I was like, look, I'm just gonna ask if I can do it on an empty stomach, because I don't eat it until a certain time of the day anyway.
Right. So when you think about it, like we recommend 3 times a day, right? But
yeah,
the nighttime, which you shouldn't really be eating when you're before bed, so that when you take the supplement, then there's first AM, which we try to discourage people from eating in the morning anyway. Right. So those 2, and then the only time where you might have something to eat is when you take it in the afternoon.
Yeah. So I'll do it early, and then whilst, because I don't eat like until afternoon. So I'll take it while I'm not eating. So I don't have any problem with, because I'm looking at some of the foods on the list. That's what I wanted to know, because I got some also for my son. So I have to let him know also to pay attention to this list.
Right. Is he still plant-based, or does he eat meat?
No, he eating no meat, huh? No. He call him the dread. He's not eating no meat. No, he don't. That would be my daughter. She'd be the one who would fluctuate, with this whole workout business and listening to some people. I'll tell her she listens to people and their foolishness about meat and eggs and all kind of, not red meat, but eggs and stuff like that. And she needs to eat that stuff. I told her she was been doing good all the time. I don't know why she listened to them and their, foolishness, but she learned. But him, no, he's plant-based, period.
All right, good.
All right, that was my question. Thank you.
All right, Laverne, take care.
Thank you, Laverne.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to go back. Amana, you there? Desi? They've stepped away.
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you there?
Yeah,
Calling
I
you for
am.
the
We're about to shut
last
up
15
shop.
minutes. We've been calling you.
I'm
We're
sorry.
about to pull the shutters down and go home.
I'm over here walking. Yeah, I'm here. So I hear a lot about estrogen with women and women having a lot of problems with that. And how can I find out which foods it's like don't have all that estrogen in it? Because a lot of vegetables that I just found out that's estrogen enriched, and I'm trying to figure out how do I, know which ones is for sure.
Right. That's the reason why we put out certain publications. So in this book, for instance, we have a list of foods that you should eat and foods that you should remove from your diet.
Well, I need to get that book right away.
Right. So you can get the e-version, or you can get the paperback version, either or.
Okay. And so my next question is, when women have too much estrogen, can it also cause them to have cancer? To develop that? Oh,
Yes.
okay. And all the other health issues that one be
Yeah,
having.
estrogen is a carcinogen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's why a lot of women are getting breast cancer too. It's because they high, in fibroids too, also, and cysts on the ovaries also.
Right. So what usually
okay.
happens with especially with black women who lead the world, right? The rest of the world added up ain't as much as African American hysterectomies. So hysterectomies that are being handed out like candies to black women, right? After you have a hysterectomy, it puts you basically into menopause, where hormonal sex steroid hormones are diminished. Then they put you onto hormone replacement therapy, and it's those synthesized hormones that are given, and it's usually estradiol that it attacks the breast or the thyroid, and unfortunately a lot of breast cancer is caused by that, and ovarian cancer.
What's the name of that book so I can look it up on the site and buy it?
It's called Got Fibroids, the Fibroid Elimination Bible.
Oh, okay. It sounds like every woman needs to buy that book, whether they got fibroids or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like for real. I mean,
Change the name
they want to wait till they have
fibroids
issues.
or not.
Or not, yeah, just to keep yourself in your hormone balance. Okay.
Yeah.
So those foods in there would tell you, that book would tell you which foods to stop eating and which foods to eat more of, so your body can start, so you can start to help flush out the extra estrogen you might have in your body. Most likely we do.
There you go.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Amana.
Thank you.
Okay, wow, right on the money. That was it. So listen, folks, again, another great call. Always a pleasure.
You notice it didn't go off today.
I was staring at it. I put a note in there saying, listen, everyone jump off the IG because it's about to go down, and then it didn't go down. So Meta probably made some changes in the back end and didn't tell us. So the IG didn't go down first, go figure. But anyway, we've got something better than IG. We've got the YouTube and we've got the Zoom, of course. The good thing about the YouTube is that, of course, you can see the full screen. You have the chat. I can get on there and we can interact via the Zoom. I can't really interact with you. I can interact with you a little bit via the IG. The best place, of course, is the Zoom. So you can get on my primary list so we can get the questions from you. You can unmute your cameras and we can interact that way. But regardless, today was another great call. Thanks to everyone that was able to join. For those of you that are a bit shy, didn't get to ask your questions, make sure you join the call on Friday. It's Fibroid Fridays, but we tend to end up speaking about anything anyway. So 5 o'clock on Friday as well. We do publish that link. Make sure you join the call then. Of course, we'll be here next week. Now, we'll be here next week, Wednesday. I shan't be here in the studio. I'm going to try and get online from abroad and we can have the call. Unless
Listen, if you ain't here, I ain't here, because if you're enjoying yourself somewhere, I might go Miami next week. I might be going Miami. I'm probably going Miami.
You have to get vaccinated if you go to Miami now.
No way.
Just
Florida,
today. Just today.
No, you don't. Come on down. I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Don't play.
That's what I'm saying. I'm coming to Florida, man.
I won't be enjoying myself. I'm going to be, really struggling to get around and stuff like that. But listen, folks, of course, as always, it's an absolute pleasure. It's getting darker in a lot of places, as we can see. Go on, Dr. Amsu.
Tell them about the extension of the sale.
I'm going to tell them about the extension of the sale. So if you hadn't heard, this is a news flash, breaking news. We are extending our Thanksgiving sale through December the 12th. The 12th is the day of Christmas, December the 12th. So pass on, same code. We haven't changed the code. Thanks 35, correct? So Tanya got the text just now. Tanya just got the text. Oh, you got the text in the UK?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So we're trying out a few new things here, guys, because we noticed that with Meta, with Facebook and IG and WhatsApp, all we know by the same company, sometimes we try and communicate with people, they don't get the messages, and vice versa. It's because they dictate what goes out and when and who receives things. So we've installed a texting service. So some of you may have gotten a text from us. Don't block us. It's not a spam. It's actually us. It's he and I. Maury, you didn't get it?
There's an image in it. You got the image, right? You got the MMS, right, Tanya? You got the image.
I don't know about the image. Let me see.
There's a picture of Dr. Amsu, no shirt on, riding a horse.
No picture.
No picture.
How do you get a text? I didn't get one.
That means we don't have your number.
So
the code.
It should be on there. Wouldn't it be on my orders and stuff on my profile?
Yeah. No. We did a blast for the UK. Oh, she didn't get. Oh, she got to American number.
Oh, that's right. So she got
to American number.
She got an English number.
So right. Check it. So depends. Sometimes our text will get blocked by the actual provider, because if they flag it or whatever. Or you might have a setting where you don't get certain text.
Is there anyone in the UK got our text this evening? Did Jacqueline get it? No, Jacqueline's probably not away on the call.
Yeah, I got it.
But you got it on your American phone.
You got an American phone. Is anyone with an English phone?
So we were sending out SMSs, but we sent out an MMS with an image to UK.
Yeah, nobody else?
I got the email.
No worries. We'll do some investigation. We'll put a thing out in the app.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to add Jacqueline and Ruth to that, so that I can gauge it by them. No, but her phone number's on there. Oh, you added it? Jacqueline, are you still with us? Are you still awake?
She's got more than one phone. Hustler phone, and she's got her work phone.
Is somebody on UK on the phone?
I think she's asleep.
That's what.
Is there anybody apart from Tanya who's got an American number? Right? Are there any UK people on the call right now? On the Zoom?
Yeah, let me see.
Only Jacqueline, and she stepped away. So
yeah. So what would the area code be?
Plus country code is plus 44.
Because like there's stuff coming through and it's blocking it right now on my phone.
Right, so that's a setting on your phone.
Yeah. You wouldn't get the one we sent out because it would have gone.
You've got that Me Too setting. on your phone. You gotta allow that. Oh, they don't get text.
There's not many people on the call.
All right. So somebody had asked what the name of the book is, right? So I just wanted to say, for those women who are suffering with who don't have fibroids but have hormonal issues, we do have the Her Elimination Kit, which you do with the Her Elimination Kit. You still get this book. But you don't get the paperback. You get the ebook and the meal plans. So that's good for hormonal issues. It's good for PCOS. It's good for infertility. Obviously, we have the Great Black Fibroid Detox for fibroids. We have the Great Black Endo Detox for endometriosis and adenomyosis. But Her Elimination Kit will give you the supplements and the meal plans and the got fibroids, even if you don't have fibroids.
Cool. Okay. Any other admin?
Wait, where's Tamara from then? Tamara.
Yeah.
Tamara from the UK.
Yeah.
I think Tamara stepped away from.
Tamara, what's up? Oh, Boss is too. Boss is in the UK. She said she got no text.
I just got one,
Okay.
but I'm in the
That's
States.
Deshaun in
But
America.
Deshaun's in the States though.
Yeah, I just sent it.
Oh, he just sent it to you. Okay. Was that MMS?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, it was through a text. It just come through.
Yeah.
I'll be wasting free
Tamara,
credits on
okay.
Deshaun like that. We got credits, Deshaun. We just wasted 3 on you.
So
Well,
Bass,
anyway.
we may not have Bass's number. That's why.
No, last message, private message said
She can't receive text.
So Maura, we have to just have your number in our system. It's not a special list. You just in the US. We have a separate system that sends to the UK because of the international dialing. But as long as we have your number in our system, you can get direct tests. And we will be using the texting because it's immediate for special offers and things like that. Because a lot of emails, a lot of people use their work email and they may not see it over the weekend, or it goes to spam because it's coming from another company. But if you don't block us in text, it can come directly to you. So between the text and the app is really the closest link you have between Great Black Detox, Electric Food, and yourselves. So
Apart from the Zoom calls.
right, I mean, like outside of once we shut the Zoom down, we're in the ether.
Right.
But most people know how to get in contact with us. We have the customer service guys, they're on the call now. We have the app.
And I will be saving this live, so I save all the lives, so it'll be in my IGTV
IGTV, yeah,
right after this call. So it will upload.
Indeed.
For those who asked.
Well, listen, folks, it's been an absolute pleasure. Remember, Thanks 35, it's been extended through December the 12th. So no better time to stock up on your detox kits and your supplements. And listen, guys, if you haven't tried it, go to the site and use the My Condition tool, and the system will throw up.
What do I need for my condition?
What do I need for my condition? Maura, you had your fingers away. You didn't mean jazz fingers.
Yeah, I ordered mine yesterday. My fibroid. So
okay, would you let's check see if Maura, see if we got our number.
placed my order yesterday.
Check your phone, Maura. You may have got a text. Maybe. If you're on the is it the not naughty list? What is Santa's list? The not naughty one. The good list and the naughty list. I can't remember what they call them. Whatever one the reindeer carries, you might not be on that list, Maura. We'll figure it out. Okay.
Jacqueline just exposed herself that she just logs in and just
dips off. Yeah,
right.
and jogs on. Maura got it? Okay, excellent. Thank you, Maura.
All right.
All right, cool. So we know it works in America. Well, listen, guys, always a pleasure. Love you guys. Safe healings, happy detoxing. It's midweek, it's hump day. We've got 2 more days of work or leisure or whatever it is you guys do for funds. But listen, be well, be safe. Dr. Amsley, last words.
Thanks for joining us. It's been great. It's been emotional.
Indeed. You know what this is. We're sending love, guys. And we'll see you Friday for most of you. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Yeah. Take care, people.
All right, take care.
Peace out.